Captain Taiwan Kim stood at the observation deck of the Earth vessel Harmony, his eyes fixed on the approaching alien world. Lumi glowed in the darkness of space, its surface dotted with brilliant crystalline structures that reflected the light of its twin suns. The ship's engines hummed as they slowed for their final approach to Lumi Station, a massive orbital platform that served as the gateway to the planet below. "Magnificent," Ta-One whispered, adjusting the collar of his formal diplomatic uniform. The dark blue fabric, embroidered with the golden insignia of the United Earth Alliance, felt stiff and uncomfortable, but he knew appearances mattered today. As the leader of humanity's first official diplomatic mission to the Lumi Empire, every detail counted. Behind him, the door to the observation deck slid open with a soft hiss. Commander Jun Park entered, datapad in hand. Jun had been Ta-One's right hand throughout their 6-month journey across the stars. "Final approach in 10 minutes, Captain," Jun reported, coming to stand beside him at the viewport. "The crew is ready. Our gifts for the royal family have been prepared according to the briefing materials." Ta-One nodded, his expression serious. "And the team has reviewed all the cultural notes we received." "Yes, though they're frustratingly incomplete," Jun frowned. "The Lumi have shared only basic information about their customs. Their ambassador warned that some aspects of their culture cannot be explained, only experienced." "That's what worries me," Ta-One said, watching as the station grew larger in the viewport. "One wrong move could set human-Lumi relations back decades." "The diplomatic course selected you for a reason," Jun reminded him. "Your record of first contact success is unmatched." "Those were with species we had studied for years," Ta-One replied. "The Lumi kept themselves isolated until recently. We're going in nearly blind." The ship's communication system chimed. "Captain, we've received docking instructions from Lumi Station. They're rolling out quite the welcome." "Thank you, Lieutenant. Tell the delegation to assemble in the main airlock. We make our entrance in 5 minutes." As the Harmony completed its docking procedures, Ta-One led his team of 12 diplomats, scientists, and security personnel to the airlock. Each wore the same formal uniform, their faces a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "Remember," Ta-One said, addressing the group one final time, "we represent not just Earth but all of humanity. Observe carefully, speak thoughtfully, and above all, show respect. Their customs are largely unknown to us. Tread carefully." The airlock doors parted with a mechanical groan, revealing a vast docking bay unlike anything they had seen before. The walls seemed to be made of living crystal that pulsed with soft blue light. A delegation of tall, slender figures waited for them on the other side of a ceremonial arc made of intertwining metallic vines. Leading the alien delegation was a figure that stood out even among her own kind. Princess Era of the Royal House of Lumi was taller than the others, her posture regal and confident. Her skin, unlike the uniform pale blue of her companions, shifted between shades of blue and violet like the surface of a soap bubble. Her eyes, large, almond-shaped, and containing 2 pupils each, studied the humans with unmistakable curiosity. Ta-One stepped forward, bowing slightly as had been suggested in their limited cultural briefing. "Greetings from Earth and the United Alliance. We come in peace and friendship." Princess Era moved toward him with fluid grace. Up close, Ta-One could see that what he had taken for clothing was actually part of her body, a series of overlapping plates that resembled an elegant gown. "Welcome to Lumi, Earth Delegation," she said, her voice melodic even through the translator device at her throat. "I will be your guide during your stay. The Emperor, my father, is pleased by your arrival and looks forward to formal meetings tomorrow. Tonight, we have prepared a reception to honor your journey." Ta-One smiled, relieved that the initial greeting had gone smoothly. "We are honored by your personal welcome, Princess Era. My team and I look forward to learning about your world." The reception was held in a vast hall within the station. The walls curved overhead to form a dome that revealed the stars beyond. Lumi attendants moved through the crowd carrying trays of food and drink, while soft music played from unseen sources. The human delegation mingled cautiously with various Lumi officials, each conversation carefully monitored by translators. Taiwan found himself repeatedly in the company of Princess Era, who seemed particularly interested in Earth culture. Her questions were insightful, focusing on art, governance, and family structures rather than technology or resources. "Your species shows remarkable adaptability," she observed as they stood near a window overlooking the planet below. "To have spread across your world despite its varied environments, and now to reach beyond to the stars. Necessity drove much of our innovation," Taiwan admitted, "but curiosity pushed us to the stars." The formal dinner began an hour later. The delegation was seated at a circular table with various Lumi dignitaries. Dishes of unfamiliar food were presented with elaborate ceremony. When a server placed a small bowl containing what looked like luminescent pearls before Taiwan, an elderly Lumi at his side leaned closer. "This is Calavish, Captain, a rare delicacy reserved for honored guests. It is harvested only once every 9 cycles during the alignment of our moons." Sensing the importance of the moment, Taiwan nodded in appreciation. He carefully took one of the pearls and, following the example of the Lumi, placed it on his tongue. The flavor was unlike anything he had experienced, sweet yet complex, changing as it dissolved. "It is wonderful," he said truthfully, wanting to show proper gratitude. He bowed his head slightly and placed his right hand over his heart, a gesture of thanks on earth. The room fell instantly silent. Every Lumi in the hall froze, their attention fixed on him. Princess Era, seated directly across from him, gasped audibly. Her iridescent skin flushed bright pink, the color spreading across her face and neck like watercolor on paper. The elderly Lumi beside Taiwan gripped his arm. "Captain," the royal interpreter whispered urgently, his translator barely able to keep up with his rapid speech, "you have just performed the sacred gesture of betrothal to Princess Era. In our culture, that hand motion, combined with the acceptance of royal food, constitutes a formal proposal of marriage." Taiwan's blood ran cold as he looked up to meet Princess Era's wide, shocked eyes across the table. Taiwan stood on the balcony of his guest quarters in the eastern wing of the Lumi Royal Palace. The 3 moons hung in the night sky, casting a silvery glow over the crystalline city below. He turned the small device in his hand, examining it carefully. It was no larger than a coin, but its purpose was clear. Someone had been listening to his private conversations. "4 more," said Princess Era, entering the room with a small container. Her skin rippled with darker blue patterns, a sign of concern Taiwan had learned to recognize over the past 2 weeks. "I found these in the meeting room where your team gathered yesterday." Taiwan took the container, examining the tiny surveillance devices. "Same design as the others. Whoever is watching us has access to advanced Lumi technology." After discovering the first listening device hidden in his quarters 3 weeks ago, their formal, awkward interactions had transformed into a reluctant partnership. The accidental engagement remained in place. Neither could find a way to cancel it without causing diplomatic disaster. But now they had a more immediate problem to solve. "Someone doesn't want the Earth-Lumi alliance to succeed," Era said, seating herself at the edge of a crystalline table that glowed faintly in response to her presence. "These devices are military-grade, not available to ordinary citizens." Taiwan nodded, moving to the workstation he had set up in the corner of the room. Components from Earth technology lay scattered across its surface, alongside Lumi crystal circuits Era had provided. "I've been working on something," he said, picking up what looked like a small sphere constructed from parts of his communicator and pieces of Lumi technology. "It should create a field that will disrupt these devices without alerting whoever placed them." Era moved closer, her dual-pupilled eyes studying his work with fascination. "How did you determine the frequency to block?" "Trial and error, mostly," Taiwan admitted. "I tested different signals until I found one that made the devices stop transmitting." "Remarkable," Era said, her skin shifting to a lighter shade that indicated interest. Lumi engineers would have followed established protocols, consulted historical records of similar problems, and applied tested solutions. It would have taken weeks and required approval from 3 different ministries. Humans solve problems differently than we do, she observed, touching the device gently with one slender finger. You don't rely on established methods. Taiwan smiled. We call it thinking outside the box. When you've only been traveling between stars for a century, you learn to improvise. He activated the device, which emitted a soft hum. A barely visible ripple spread through the air around them. There, he said. Now we can speak freely, at least in this room. Over the next few days, they made more of these disruptors, placing them strategically throughout the areas where the Earth delegation worked and lived. Their collaboration became more comfortable as they worked toward a common goal. One afternoon, as they placed the last disruptor in the diplomatic meeting room, Era suggested a detour. There's something I would like to show you, she said, leading him down corridors of the palace he hadn't yet seen. They emerged into an expansive garden unlike any Taiwan had encountered on Lumi. Instead of the geometric precision of other Lumi gardens, this one seemed almost wild. Crystalline plants grew alongside organic ones, creating a harmony between the 2 forms of life that had evolved on the planet. A small stream ran through the center, its water glowing with bioluminescent organisms. This is beautiful, Taiwan said, genuinely impressed. It's different from the other gardens. I designed it myself, Era replied, her skin glowing with pride, soft purples and blues dancing across her surface. Traditional Lumi gardens follow strict patterns established centuries ago. I wanted something that reflected both our worlds. She led him to a small pavilion overlooking a pond. Above them, the dome was transparent, offering a clear view of the stars above. I studied astronomy before my royal duties took precedence, she said, gesturing to the stars. I've always wondered what lies beyond our star system, what other worlds look like, how other species live. Taiwan looked at her with new understanding. Is that why you were chosen as our liaison? Because of your interest in other worlds? Partly, she admitted, though no one expected the liaison position to become more permanent. Her skin rippled with colors that Taiwan now recognized as embarrassment. About that, he began cautiously. I've been researching Lumi customs. Is there truly no way to undo the betrothal without causing offense? Era's colors darkened slightly. The ritual is considered binding because it's rare for it to happen by accident. The precise combination of accepting royal food and making the sacred gesture. Most Lumi spend years considering such a step. Taiwan nodded thoughtfully. On Earth, engagements can be broken, though it's often complicated. The complication here is political, Era explained. My father sees this as an opportunity. The first human-Lumi union would solidify our alliance in a way no treaty could. They sat in silence for a moment, watching the strange fish-like creatures glide through the glowing pond. Perhaps someday you could visit Earth, Taiwan suggested, surprising himself with how much he meant it. Our skies are different, but the stars are just as beautiful. Era's skin brightened. I would like that. Their moment of connection was interrupted by the urgent chirping of Taiwan's communicator. He answered to find Jum's concerned face on the screen. Captain, you need to return immediately. There's been a security breach. 15 minutes later, Taiwan stared at the evidence laid out before him in the secure meeting room. Classified documents from the Earth delegation, trade proposals, defense capabilities, resource reports had been discovered in the possession of agents from the Vex Confederation, a rival empire known for their hostility toward Earth. They were caught trying to leave the system, Joan explained. The Lumi security forces intercepted them, but they're claiming the documents were provided by us. By you specifically, Captain. Era, who had joined them moments after, shook her head. That's impossible. The Vex have been trying to sabotage Lumi's relations with other species for decades. The Lumi High Council is assembling to discuss the matter, Jun continued. Some are already calling for the Earth delegation to be detained until an investigation is complete. Taiwan exchanged a look with Era. This is connected to the surveillance. Someone is trying to frame Earth and destroy the Alliance. Era nodded, her skin now a determined deep blue. We need to find out who, before both our peoples pay the price. As if in answer, the security terminal on the wall flashed with an incoming message. A formal declaration from the High Council appeared on screen, with one line standing out in stark clarity. By order of the Emperor's Council, Captain Taiwan Kim is to surrender himself for questioning regarding acts of espionage against the Lumi Empire. Taiwan's heart pounded as alarms blared throughout the palace. The royal guards would reach the diplomatic quarters within minutes. Through the window, he could see security forces already gathering in the courtyard below.